You've read the title, you've seen the thumbnail. Everyone tells you what you should vote for, but I'm here to do the opposite. I'm gonna have some controversial takes in this video, and it has to be like that because if I talk shit about something like fucking farming isekai, then there's no goddamn point in making this video in the first place. I'm gonna be going over each of the categories that are worth talking about and saying why you should not vote for a specific candidate. So let's start with the one that was in the thumbnail, Best Girl. Marin is not Best Girl, and she's not even close. The amount of love that this character has gotten is really weird to me since I didn't think that she was that much of a standout character. I liked her, I thought she was entertaining, but at the end of the day I also thought that she was just another upbeat, peppy waifu that we've seen time and time again. And that's not to say that there's anything wrong with that character archetype, it's just that with how people have been reacting to her, you'd expect something a lot more than what she really is. I talked to one of my friends who also really liked the show and seriously asked him why he found Marin to be so special, and the only thing he could bring up was the fact that she liked hentai, which makes for some funny jokes, but think about it. She likes hentai, and that's one of the only things that makes her stand out from the hundreds of mannequins that look exactly the same as each other. If that's all she needs to cause such a widespread amount of love, then that just says something really sad about the anime community. That we have way too low standards. And I say we because I'm not really one to talk. I like Shizato from Licorice Recoil, and she's basically the same type of character as Marin. The only thing that sets her apart is the fact that she has a gun, which has even less individuality when you think about the thousands of fucking shows that use the same kind of premise that Licorice Recoil did. So I'm not really any better, but I recognize that she's probably not qualified for the title of Best Girl because Lucy from Cyberpunk Edgerunners just kind of takes the cake. Get used to me mentioning Cyberpunk Edgerunners because I promise you throughout the rest of this video I will never shut the fuck up about that show. The only award that people actually give a crap about is Anime of the Year, so I'm just gonna give you what you want instead of dragging this shit out. For this award, I'm gonna have to say that Mob Psycho 100 does not deserve to be Anime of the Year. Now I know everyone is gonna get mad about that, but let me explain. I like the finale to Mob Psycho 100, it was a very fitting and emotional one for that show. However, the last 3 episodes are the only ones that I can really say are great without any hesitation, because this season had a slow start with a bunch of slice of life stuff, which wasn't necessarily bad, it just wasn't what I was expecting from the final season of a big shonen that had an absolutely insane trailer. This was then followed up by 2 arcs that focused on characters that I didn't really think needed to be focused on. Tomei's pair of episodes was by far the weakest bit of anything that was in the show. It was something that grinded the pacing to a halt and just made me wonder why we were spending this long on a character that was never that important to the story. Dimple is a lot more justified since he was always around and he did get pretty close to Mob, but I still found this arc to be kind of pointless, especially since after his noble sacrifice he just comes back at the end anyways, making what would have been a very haunting and powerful scene relatively insignificant. It came around at the end, which was a nice surprise, but being decent until the last 3 episodes just doesn't cut it when competing against stuff like Chainsaw Man, Kaguya-sama Finale, and the 6th season of My Hero Academia, which hasn't even concluded yet. And all of these shows pale in comparison to the masterpiece that is Cyberpunk Edgerunners, and even then, Cyberpunk has to worry about fucking farming isekai. Against something of that scale and magnitude, I really don't know how Mob can even hope to compete. By this point, you should know that I can never stop sucking Cyberpunk's dick, so let's go over all the categories that every other anime is just invalidated to win because of the fact that Edgerunners exists. Best protagonist is obviously David, come on now, none of this Denji crap or Mob or any other character that you can think of. David is the best, and I'm not gonna say why because I shouldn't have to. It's the same with Best Boy. David wins in a landslide over the same characters I mentioned. Let's be honest, nothing can compete with this show for best score. Look up any Cyberpunk Edgerunners video and it always ends with I want to stay at your house playing in the background no matter what. And that's my only argument. Best character designs? Come on. Come on. Look at this fucking show. Best romance, drama, action, comedy, film, and fantasy all go to Cyberpunk. I don't even know if it qualifies for half of those, but it should still win them. Best animation? Are we fucking kidding here? I mean, what could possibly beat Cyberpunk in the animation department? What are we talking about here? Okay, maybe that's still up for debate. And last but not least, I swear to God, if Hiroyuki Imaishi does not win Best Director, I will riot. This isn't even a discussion, and this isn't me exaggerating like other categories in this part of the video. Like, literally, no other option even makes sense. After seeing this director doing the same thing time and time again, he's finally delivered on something truly special, and holy shit, just every scene, every frame is shot with so much style and substance to the point where even without watching anything else from the entire rest of the year, someone can watch this and go, this better win Best Direction. And also maybe every other award in existence. Now that we've gotten those absolute wipes out of the way, time to move on to more important awards, like Best VA Performance. I don't give a shit about any of these. Now time to move on to more important awards, like Best Opening. You might find me foolish for saying this, but I do not think that Chainsaw Man deserves Opening of the Year. Don't get me wrong, it has an incredible and insanely well made and produced opening, however I personally don't feel much love for it. It's the kind of opening that I can respect, but not one that I would actively look up on YouTube and listen to endlessly. Also, I think that Cyberpunk has a good shot of winning this one. But if it does end up winning Best OP, I don't think I can really complain. It's fantastic, and I don't blame anybody for thinking it deserves it. However, the best ending is something that I will not be so forgiving about. Now you may be thinking to yourself, well, how can you compete with the custom EDs that Chainsaw Man has for each of its episodes? Well, I respond quite easily, I might add. Have you heard of the show Dance Dance Dancier? I always saw the Chainsaw Man EDs as more of a style over substance thing, and that's not knocking them at all. After all, they're stylish as hell, and I'm also probably missing some subtle bits of characterization and symbolism or whatever. However, Dance Dance Dancier's ED is filled to the brim with both style and substance, much like every scene and every frame from Cyberpunk Edgerunners, cleverly using unique animation techniques to put together an absolutely beautiful portrait of the three main characters, mostly Junpei. Watching this ED is seriously awe-inspiring. Details like Junpei going from rough sketches to more complete drawings and the sparkles becoming bigger and more prominent as he becomes more and more invested in his passion are great and use the unique style of the ED in a meaningful way. And to top it all off, the song is just really catchy, so yeah, this ED deserves the win this year. The best fight scene this year was not from Demon Slayer Season 2. Yes, this fight looks very pretty and everything, which is why it deserves best animation potentially, but as a fight, it's just bare bones. The only reason why this fight was interesting at all is because of the animation, so much to the point where the only thing you can really say about it outside of the animation is, it's a fight, they're definitely fighting each other. Again, it looks cool, but that's all, so this doesn't really compare to the other big shonen fights in my opinion. I think I'd say the same about Chainsaw Man's fight scenes. They have this great sense of scale to them, but they feel more like a secondary priority, so they just end up feeling like spectacles, though I personally feel like they have a lot more creativity put into them. And the only award that I didn't go over yet is Best Antagonist, and I'm sorry Chainsaw Man, but I gotta do this to you again. I don't think I need to talk about this because this character shouldn't even be nominated, but I might as well just cover all of my bases. There is an antagonist in Chainsaw Man, and the manga readers seem to love them. I've heard some of the shit that this certain character does in the manga, and yes, they seem like an awesome villain. But remember, this is the anime we're talking about, and they haven't done much yet that cements them as a good antagonist in my eyes. And this is the reason why I didn't think Chainsaw Man should win many of the awards this year. While it was an exceptional show and I'm excited to see more from it, it's still only the beginning. It hasn't gone anywhere crazy yet in the 12 episodes that it's gotten so far, which is why we shouldn't jump the gun right now. If I didn't mention an anime that you think should have won something, it's probably because I agree with you. Or I didn't watch it. That's all for today, and I'll be going now.